Any Englishman will tell you Diego Maradona's "Hand of God" was the worst and most controversial refereeing decision of the 1986 World Cup. They would all be wrong. Quite simply, the USSR were cheated out in the round of 16 against Belgium. Twice, the officials missed clear offside decisions to help the Belgians progress in a nervy 4-3 extra-time classic. It was a depressing exit in a depressing year for the Soviet Union, with the country suffering the devastating Chernobyl nuclear disaster 2 months earlier. There was a glimmer of happiness for the Cold War communists at the World Cup, and it came from a 25-year-old bloke named Rats in the group stage. Rats Let's Fly. Vasyl Rats was an unassuming member of the all-conquering Dynamo Kiev, who had won the Vyshaya Liga the previous 2 seasons along with a second Cup Winners' Cup triumph in 11 years. In fact, the club boasted 12 players in the Soviet squad, including 1986 Ballon d'Or winner Igor Belanov. Rats was a true Dynamo man, having played for the Giants 185 times in 2 spells, sandwiched between a stint at Espanyol, before going on to work as assistant manager in the 21st century. Having won the opening fixture of the 1986 World Cup 6-0 over Hungary, but the challenge of France 3 days later was always going to be a trickier task, with the French boasting the likes of Jean Tigana, Michel Platini and Jean-Pierre Papin. Rats celebrates with teammates after a goalless opening 45 minutes. Rats struck in the 53rd minute. The magic behind the goal is that it seemingly comes out of nowhere. The move appeared done, with the ball bobbling between players on the edge of the box, and Rats stays off the edge of the camera for as long as possible before revealing himself. Then from stage right, he introduces himself, swings his foot back and produces a shot like a traction engine. France keeper Joel Batz had no chance with the 30-yard blaster which telegraphed straight into the top right corner of the goal. It was one of the great World Cup goals, the USSR man emphatically winning the Battle of the Rodents. Luis Fernandez would later equalize, but the USSR would top the group to face Belgium but would suffer their controversial farewell from the World Cup. Rats always seemed to save his best goals for the big occasion, proving the hypothesis 2 years later at Euro 1988. Marauding from left back, he met a visionary cross against Holland to hit first time on the half volley to help the USSR on their way to the final, where they lost in a rematch with the Dutch.